began to represent another sound. Now, in the 16th century, when Spaniards heard the SH sound in Nahuatl, such as this, Xalisco, it was natural to use the X. Xalisco. The sounds have not changed in Nahuatl. Consequently, the X is still used for the sound. Xalisco. Right? Everybody, Xalisco? Xalisco. The original name for Jalisco. Place name, right? Place in front of the sound. By the way, Mexico, Mexico, right? Of course, Mexicans claim that they want to spell it with an X for what? Nationalistic reasons, for matters of pride. That's not going far enough, right? Go back to the original pronunciation. As we'll see, Mexico. That means nothing anymore. In the 16th century, Spaniards used to spell this with an X because the X actually reflected the SH sound. Once the SH sound disappeared, then the spelling changed to reflect the new pronunciation. All Mexicans are doing is what? Going back to the spelling, but they're disregarding the original pronunciation. I would say, go back to the original pronunciation. I mean, if it's a question of national pride, why not? Last syllable, second from last, stress goes here. SH, everybody. Chicama. You heard of Chicama? That's the original word, Chicama. And I'm sure that you've heard of this one. Last syllable, second from last, stress goes here. Everyone, Shochi. Where that is? Flower. I know at least 7 or 8 women who have this name. They all pronounce it differently. Xochitl, Chochi, Xochitl, but now it is Shochi. Shochi. Okay, this is this letter represents a point of contention. I would pronounce it as a Spanish J. That's close enough for something like an English H. There are 2 sounds. One is the glottal stop. For example, in English, if you say the word for manzana, say that in English. No, in English. Apple, right? You don't say apple. Oh, you say apple. There's a pause there, right? How do you say cooperar in English? Walk. Correct. That stop, that glottal stop, is something used in Nahuatl. Now, in some of these early manuscripts, the glottal stop is not represented at all. In some, it's represented with an apostrophe. In some, with another symbol. Modern day scholars sometimes represent it with an H. But they also represent the aspiration, right? The English H, or close to the Spanish H, with the same symbol. Now, I mean, we can split hairs over this, but I think it's more important to learn vocabulary, to learn the structure of the language, and to quibble over whether this is supposed to be a glottal stop or whether it's supposed to be an aspiration. All right? And to top it off, in some varieties of Nahuatl, they don't use a glottal stop. Right? So I'm not going to argue over that. Whenever you come across an H, at least in the workbooks that I use, and in most of the publications, either pronounce it as a Spanish J, or English H, or if you want, as a glottal stop. All right? Last syllable place, second from last. This will be pronounced, everyone, Mexico, 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 Mexico. And plural of Azteca. Let's go 0. Azteca. Azteca. That's the H. Right? So, 2 L's, just for those of us who read Spanish. 2 L's. This is not an A. So that everyone, tamali, that's a tamal, right? You be surprised how much Nahuatl you know already. What is that? Molly? By the way, just to illustrate what I said earlier about O's and U's, sometimes this is pronounced as what? Muli, rather than Molly. I think the O sound is probably more archaic, so I'm using the O. But don't be surprised if you come across it as a B.
Got a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Sochi, you could also say Suchi.
Not in Nahuatl. In Nahuatl, it would be Shochi, but it is then Hispanicized to either Sochi or Suchi. For example, flower known as Shochi is called in Spanish by some people Senpasushi. There was even a song, a corrido, which was banned from Mexican radio about 20, 25 years ago because it was the corrido de Juan Patatucci. His mother was una bruja que se llamaba Shochi, the bruja. Juan Patatucci, hijo de Suchi. They banned it for that reason. But that illustrates the way of the pronunciation. Okay, we have a question for origin of the word Azteca. I mentioned that whenever you have Tlan, it's a place name. So, Zapotlan, land of Zapote, right? Whenever a word ends in Tlan, if you want to say person from, this is replaced by Teca. So that a person from Zapotlan would be Zapoteca. I'm using the hyphen to illustrate that. If you have Aztlan, place of Aztli, which is literally wing, then this would be what? Teca.
Azteca.
And this would be Azteca, person from here. Now, with regard to Aztlan, as it stands, Aztlan, there is a word in Nahuatl, Aztli, which means wings. So this literally would be land of the wings. However, we find that some people claim that it is actually that Aztlan is a deformation of Aztatlan. Land of Aztat, which is a stork. Land of the storks, one type of bird, that's possible as well. Or that it is a deformation of Atzalan. Atzalan means in the middle of, and this is water. Land in the middle of the water, that's possible also. But as the word stands, Aztlan, it means land of wings. If this is in fact a transformation of this or this, well, that's a different matter.
What does Itza mean?
I'm sorry?
Itza?
Spell it?
Itza.
Like that? I don't know, it's not all. Anytime you see eats, eats means obsidian, which is black volcanic rock. Yes?
What about Ishtemok? Ishtemok?
Like this?
Yes.
Okay. The way it stands, there's a verb, temo, which means to descend. Temok is what is called a, we can call it a singular marker for the preterite tense. It makes it an agent. One who descends, and then ish can be either eye or face, right? So, ishtemok, one who descends like an eye or face, or one who is down, right, at the eye, ojo gacho, right? Could be that.
Thank you.
It's like ishweya. Something has become, is elongated at the face, long face.